Have you ever entered a huge furniture store for one simple thing, and somehow found yourself walking through bedrooms, kitchens, sofas, rugs, plants, lamps, a warehouse, and maybe even food? That wandering feeling is not an accident. The store is designed less like a shelf system and more like a journey. The trip feels strange because it turns a small errand into a sequence of complete little worlds. You do not simply pass products. You pass rooms, moods, solutions, and possibilities. The path keeps unfolding, and each new section gives your brain another version of home to consider. The key idea is that the store is built around a route, not a shortcut. A normal shop might let you go straight to a category. This kind of furniture store often guides you through a planned sequence, where the order of rooms matters as much as the products inside them. The route usually moves through showrooms first, then the marketplace, then the warehouse, and finally checkout. That order is powerful. First you imagine a better room. Then you see the smaller objects that support that room. Then you collect boxes. The experience turns inspiration into action. In the showroom, a product is rarely alone. A sofa sits with a rug, a table, a lamp, cushions, shelves, and plants. This matters because most people do not buy furniture as isolated objects. They buy a feeling of how a room could work. The store is selling a possible life, not just a chair. A finished room helps you imagine what your own space could become. It removes some of the mental work of combining colors, sizes, materials, and storage. Instead of asking you to invent the room, it shows you one. A full room makes decisions easier because scale is hard. A table can look too large online and too small in memory. But inside a staged room, you can see walking space, storage, lighting, and proportions. The store turns abstract measurements into something your body can understand. The long path exposes you to more complete ideas. Bedroom, kitchen, dining, office, closet, entryway, bathroom, and living room displays appear as a sequence. Even if you came for a desk, you may leave thinking about storage, lighting, or a corner of the house you had ignored. That is why a desk can feel far away. The route may show you several rooms before the exact thing you plan to buy. This is not only delay, it is a chance for the store to ask a different question. While you are here, what else in your home could work better? Tiny apartment displays are especially effective because they solve a real problem. Many people are not decorating huge houses. They are trying to fit life into limited space. A compact room shows storage, sleeping, working, and relaxing compressed into one idea that feels practical instead of decorative. Kitchen displays do the same thing. They do not just show cabinets. They show drawers, jars, islands, lighting, rails, and hidden organizers. The message is not simply buy this counter. The message is that a messy part of daily life could become smoother with the right system. Closet systems work because organization is emotional. A neat wardrobe suggests less stress, faster mornings, and control over clutter. The store turns drawers and rails into a feeling of calm. That feeling can be more persuasive than the object itself. Every room asks a quiet question. What could be better at home? Not what do you need right now, but what could be improved? That framing matters. Need is narrow. Improvement is broad. Once you start thinking in improvements, many small products suddenly feel relevant. Kitchen storage is a perfect example. You may not enter the store planning to reorganize spices, containers, lids, or drawers, but a display can make the problem visible. The moment the problem feels familiar, the solution nearby starts to feel convenient. A calm bedroom display works because it sells relief. Soft lighting, neat fabric, and hidden storage suggest that your own room could feel quieter. It is not just showing furniture, it is showing a mood that many people want at the end of a long day. The route turns shopping into discovery. Each doorway creates a small reveal. Instead of staring at rows of similar products, you step into little scenes. That keeps attention alive because the brain is built to respond to environments, not spreadsheets. This is very different from direct categories. A category aisle says here are the chairs, compare them quickly. A showroom says here is how a life with this chair might feel. One approach is efficient. The other creates imagination, and imagination can lead to a bigger basket. After the showroom, the path starts moving towards self-service. By then, the store has done important work. It has created desire, shown combinations, and made some decisions feel easier. The warehouse is not the beginning of the sale. It is the place where the imagined room becomes boxes. The path slows you down, but it also shows connections. A lamp connects to a desk, a rug connects to a sofa, a bin connects to a shelf. These connections matter because add-ons are easier to understand when they appear inside the room where they make sense. Shortcuts, maps, and signs do exist. The store is not a literal trap. You can often leave the main path, skip sections, or find a faster route. But many shoppers still follow the obvious path because it removes the burden of deciding where to go next. That is why the maze feeling is complicated. The store may offer choices, but the easiest choice is usually to keep following the arrows. A clear arrow reduces navigation stress. You do not have to plan. You simply continue. And while you continue, the store keeps presenting ideas. Most shoppers follow what feels easiest, especially in a large unfamiliar building. When the route is clear and the alternatives take effort, the main path wins. This is less about confusion and more about momentum. Once you are in the flow, stopping to redesign the trip feels unnecessary. With less attention spent on navigation, more attention is available for rooms. That is the clever part. If you are not constantly asking, "Where am I?" you can look at storage, lighting, cushions, tables, and little improvements. The route carries your feet while the rooms capture your mind. Dwell time creates exposure. Every extra minute in the store is another chance to notice something useful, compare an option, or imagine a change at home. The store does not need you to buy everything. It only needs enough small discoveries to increase the final basket. Small add-ons are one of the strongest parts of the system. A large piece of furniture requires thought, measurement, transport, and money. But bins, hooks, candles, organizers, towels, plants, and lamps feel easier. They are small enough to say yes to without rewriting the budget. A bookcase display becomes more persuasive when the matching bins are already inside it. You are not only seeing storage furniture, you are seeing the storage solved. The add-on feels less like an extra purchase and more like the missing piece that completes the idea. A desk works the same way. The lamp, organizer, cable tray, cup, chair, and storage box all make the desk feel usable. The store surrounds the main product with supporting objects, so the full setup becomes easier to picture and easier to copy. This is how a big purchase brings you in while small objects surround the route. You may arrive because you need one piece of furniture, but the path keeps offering low-commitment items. These objects feel practical, affordable, and directly connected to the rooms you just admired. The marketplace turns ideas into objects. After seeing a cozy kitchen, organized closet, or tidy desk, you enter aisles where the smaller parts are within reach. The emotional distance between inspiration and purchase shrinks because the store gives you a basket-friendly version of the dream. From imagining rooms, you move into filling the cart. That transition is important. In the showroom, you build desire. In the marketplace, you convert desire into reachable items. The cart becomes the bridge between the room you imagined and the small decisions you can make today. Dense marketplace categories work because they feel useful. Kitchen tools, textiles, lighting, plants, frames, and storage are not random. They connect back to the rooms upstairs. The store has already taught you why these objects matter, so the marketplace feels like a solution area. First, the journey creates desire, then it gives you reachable pieces of that desire. Maybe you cannot redo the whole living room today, but you can buy a lamp, a storage box, a frame, or a plant. The store makes partial improvement feel satisfying. Then the warehouse role begins. The mood changes from inspiration to logistics. Tall racks, flat boxes, carts, aisle markers, and pickup locations make the experience feel like a mission. You are no longer just browsing rooms. You are collecting the physical pieces of the plan. Flat pack furniture is central to this system because it changes storage and shipping. Boxes can stack efficiently, move through warehouses, fit into cars, and wait on shelves. The design is not only about customer experience, it is also about making bulky furniture manageable at scale. Customers collecting boxes themselves is part of the efficiency. The store shifts some work to the shopper, but it also keeps prices and inventory systems more manageable. The warehouse feels huge because it is where the dreamy showroom becomes practical, numbered, and stackable. That self-service process can feel like a logistics mission. Find the aisle, find the bin, check the box, load the cart, and maybe ask for help. The maze feeling continues here, but now it has a different flavor. It is less imagination and more execution. The restaurant and cafe fit the journey because a long route creates fatigue. Food gives people a reason to pause, reset, and continue. It also turns the visit into more than shopping. The store becomes an outing, which makes a longer visit feel normal. The maze feeling comes from layers working together: arrows, room scenes, add-ons, marketplace bins, warehouse logistics, and a place to rest. No single layer explains the whole experience. Together, they turn a furniture trip into a guided path from imagination to checkout. The deeper point is that the store is not only making you lost, it is making you imagine home. The path gives your brain time to compare your current space with possible improvements. Once that comparison starts, a simple errand can become a list of ideas. By the end, the journey has carried you from entrance to showroom, from showroom to marketplace, from marketplace to warehouse, and from warehouse to checkout. That is the hidden system behind the maze. Not just confusion, but a carefully designed path from possibility to purchase.